Islamic-minded people, they are very fond of our nuclear capability. The combination of jihad and the nuclear capability, it lends tremendous strength to Pakistan.
It's 6:30 in the morning, and Khalid Khawaja is on his way to prayers. He also fought in Afghanistan and counts himself as a good friend of Osama bin Laden, meeting him 100 times, he boasts. Now a successful businessman in Pakistan, Khawaja has become an unofficial ambassador for Al-Qaeda and its sympathizers. Khawaja says Muslim fundamentalists around the world have every right to arm themselves with nuclear weapons, so long as it is part of a defensive holy war.
Now the enemy, if they have nukes, if they have missiles, we cannot fight with Kalashnikovs. So it is a duty of all the Muslims, in fact, to make the parallel kind of weapons so that we can fight back.
Indeed, in Taliban-ruled Afghanistan in the late 1990s, Al-Qaeda made a number of attempts to get their hands on fissile material for sale on the black market after the collapse of the Soviet Union.
Osama bin Laden and his company must have had enough money to spare. They were the ones who could buy this. They may have got it already, for all you know.
There is no evidence Al-Qaeda has the bomb yet. But if they ever got their hands on nuclear fuel, it would not be hard to make a weapon.
It doesn't take a rocket scientist to make a bomb. What you need are two subcritical pieces of that uranium, and then you just physically could slam them together in your hands, and you'd get a nuclear reaction, a little tiny atomic explosion.
In fact, when the Taliban fell, Al-Qaeda left behind revealing documents and plans, like this one uncovered by CNN, called the super bomb.
It was an attempt to try to lay out how do you go about understanding and building a nuclear weapon. We saw this document as establishing that Al-Qaeda wanted nuclear weapons, and unfortunately, no one has ever failed building one.
We have to be right 100% of the time. They only have to be right once. And when you're talking about terrorism with a nuclear weapon or terrorism with a nuclear device of some kind, you don't want to be wrong that one time.
Even a small nuclear weapon smuggled into Washington or New York could kill and injure hundreds of thousands.
The only weapon we have is this nuke. So if you attack us, so we have no other way, we will give you back this good gift. We don't mind dying, but our enemies, they don't want to die.
It began as an Islamic bomb for one country. Now Pakistan has close to 50 nuclear missiles that could fall into the hands of Islamic radicals. And many fear the Islamic bomb has found another home in Iran. In front of this Iranian nuclear facility, hundreds of women have formed a human chain, but they are not protesting against nuclear power in Iran. They are here to symbolically protect it from the West. Iran's radical new president, Mahmoud Ahmadinejad, who has said that Israel should be wiped off the map, insists his nuclear program is for peaceful purposes only. But many are skeptical because of the man who sold Iran much of its nuclear technology.
A.Q. Khan was not in the business of civil nuclear power development. And so when the Iranians say, oh, this is just for civil nuclear purposes, you have to ask questions about intent here. Why would you have had dealings with A.Q. Khan?
It's not just Washington that's raising the alarm. In this report, UN weapons inspectors state bluntly that Iran may have received documents from the Khan network related to the fabrication of nuclear weapon components. The Khan network gave the Iranians plans to shape enriched uranium into hemispheres, which is only done for a nuclear weapon.
It rang a lot of bells. The Iranians said, oh, we just got this stuff in the other material. We never did anything with it. We never asked for it. We never paid for it. It just showed up. Fell off a truck.
UN weapons inspectors also found evidence of a secretive plan for Iran's military to work with its nuclear scientists, testing high explosives and military re-entry vehicles. In other words, a warhead.
It shows heavy military involvement. You're talking about designing warheads. You're talking about test explosions, it looks like, to perfect nuclear weapons.
Iran is probably still at least 5 to 10 years away from getting the bomb, if that is their goal. At the Natanz enrichment plant, the Iranians boast they will start installing 3,000 centrifuges in the next few months. And just beyond the site is a huge underground chamber, designed to hold as many as 50,000 centrifuges based on Khan's designs, enough to eventually produce fuel for more than 20 nuclear warheads a year. But to prevent that, the Bush administration has stated all options are on the table. If there ever was a preemptive military strike against Iran's nuclear targets, experts say it would have to be massive.
Some of these things are underground and they're hardened, so you have to go in one strike and break the top of the complex, and then you go down and break the next level of floor, the next one, and then down until you get where you want to be. So you easily would be up in the area of around 1,000 strike sorties, a sortie being one aircraft on one trip. This is something we could do.
In a quiet neighborhood of Islamabad, the man who started the worst nuclear proliferation crisis in history enjoys a quiet life of forced retirement. Still a hero to his country. A city suburb is named after him. A monument thanks him for making Pakistan unbeatable. But A.Q. Khan has left his own monuments around the world. Centrifuges in North Korea, Iran, and who knows where else. And the even more frightening legacy of a nuclear bomb without a home, without a return address.
Private groups, private tourism, private nuclear shops. Everything is private now.
Saif Gaddafi of Libya says A.Q. Khan has changed the rules of the nuclear game forever.
Private terrorism, like Al-Qaeda or other groups, they are private. They don't belong to any country, they don't have passports, they don't have nationalities. For nuclear technology, you go to private companies. This is globalization, this is the new world.
The first nuclear age was about great powers facing off against each other. It was terrifying, but at least everybody knew the rules. In the second nuclear age, in the world of A.Q. Khan, there is no return address. There is no deterrence. The bomb could come in a backpack, in a briefcase, in an ox cart. In the second nuclear age, we're seeing the privatization of the atomic bomb, the outsourcing of the bomb. It's a much more frightening world.